All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. So, what I'm going to talk about today is regarding men. And, I teach a Mastering Self Confidence program and courses on how to help men find the woman of their dreams, even if they've been through a bad breakup or divorce. And one of the things I tell men, and I've actually never done a podcast on this, is if you want to attract women, stop thinking about them. Now, I don't mean in the sense stop thinking about them entirely, so let's make that clear. But I do think a lot of men that I know when I talk to them, what bogs them down is them constantly thinking about women and why they're not getting the results they desire when meeting them or dating them, just socializing with them in general. And I do think a lot of men, they don't talk about it a lot. They do think about sex a lot. So do women, especially if you're younger, I think. You're thinking about, why am I not getting laid? When was the last time I went on a date? Holy shit. Or am I ever going to get laid again? Am I ever going to have a girlfriend? Does anybody find me attractive? Why am I a loser? Why do, women ghost me? Why do they dump me? All these different types of things. I get it. And we carry all that shit around a lot of times. But what I try to teach men is just to have friendships with women. What you got to understand when it comes to anything is the desperate aspect of anything, I think, is a killer. I call it death spirit because it's death. And a lot of men, when talking to women, and you can kind of see it in clubs, bars, personally, online, whatever, even could be comments, they just sound desperate. You sound weak. And you got to get away from that shit. If, again, you want to meet women or be around more women, you're going to have to learn how to be friends with women first. It's not just about getting laid or trying to get them in the bedroom. And I have a newsflash. You can have friends with women that you're not, with. One of the things that is going to lead most men to women is other women. I talk about it all the time. And what's interesting is men won't go out on dates or just hang out or take women out places that they're just friends with and hang out, most of them. It's almost like, why would I do that? Why would I take just a friend that's a girl out on a date when I know she's not attracted to me? Well, it's not just about the date. It's about learning how to kind of communicate correctly. Also, a lot of times if you're with a woman, other women are going to look at you. And a lot of times she basically could become your wing woman, which I'm not going to, that's a whole nother podcast. But the deal is here, instead of feeling sorry for yourself or thinking about women all day and why they don't find you attractive and all these things, start thinking about how can I have a better conversation with women, just in general. Maybe men too. I heard some stat recently, and it was very interesting. And I don't always like to throw stats out. I'm not going to get too deep because some I believe in, some I don't. But I found this one very interesting. And it was basically came to luck that more people that were extroverted seemed to be more luckier than introverted. One of the reasons was because they talked their way through a lot of things and they got to meet other people and have discussions, which then in turn led to other things and they became more knowledgeable and they kind of worked. It also can backfire actually too as well, you over socializing or being too much of an extrovert, because then you can also turn people off or you can say things that, it could blow up in your face. Let's put it that way too. But being introverted and not really talking to too many people and kind of always keeping to your own, no one really knows you're there. No one knows you're out there. So I get both because I've always said I'm introverted and extroverted. And the reason I bring that up is because, if you really do want to meet other women, unless, you want to find somebody who doesn't really communicate that much, which you may find. But a lot of women, for the most part, or a lot of people, when they're in relationships, they like to communicate. They like to do things together. It's not just obviously about sex. It's way more than that. So the quicker you can just learn how to have intelligent conversations with women and to get over kind of the fear of thinking that you always have to hit on them when talking to a woman, especially that you're interested in, and kind of putting all these things behind you and just thinking about not just thinking of women in the sense of women, thinking about how to socialize. And how to kind of, when you're out there in public or even online, I don't care if you're on a dating app or whatever, not always being so cut and dry a lot of times, where you can just have the freedom to just communicate. Like I said, the more you're kind of communicating with others, I believe a lot of times, especially if you're looking for intelligent, beautiful women, the better off you're going to be. That doesn't mean you have to go out and be a socialite and talk to hundreds of them or be friends with hundreds of them. I'm not telling you to do that. But what I am saying is, if I went out today, or even in my past, when I was going out, and I think I was programmed this way, going in and out of bars and nightclubs my whole life, that I looked at women differently after a certain amount of time, because one is, I had to work with them, or they worked with us, right? So if I'm going in a place, it could be and even if they didn't work with me, I knew they were working. So I treated them with respect. But no matter where I was at, I just learned how to communicate and talk to them. And I think that is the one component men really have a problem with. And it's also treating women differently maybe than the way you've treated them before. That doesn't mean you got to bow down to them or kiss their ass or do any of those type of things. I'm not telling you to do that. Treat a woman with the same respect that you'd want to be treated with. Have conversations, that you think are interesting for both of you as well. You don't only have to talk about things that you think women would want to talk about, because a lot of women like the things you like. You just don't know it a lot of times because you've never had these conversations maybe with them. You may think, oh, if I talk to these girls, they're only going to want to talk about shopping, or they're only going to talk about hair or makeup or nail. What are you talking about? Women do almost everything we do to a certain degree. Maybe not everything, but pretty close, I could assure you. A lot of women love sports. Go look in a stadium. How many women are out there? How many women like to go to do whatever you like to do, as far as it could be fitness, it could be restaurants, it could be even going to seminars, it could be women. I don't care if you make films or if you're an author or if you have your own business. What are you talking about? I think a lot of men try to box women in, and I do sometimes think women try to box men in. But guys, I'm just going to wrap it up with this. Learn how to have conversations with women that are interesting. If you do that, I can assure you a woman will talk to you and you will have their interest. If you're an asshole and you throw out a lot of stupid shit, you're insecure, or if you're, I sometimes pickup lines work, I despise them. I am the flip of that. But instead of always thinking about why you're not getting laid or why women don't like you and all these different types of things, and start looking at it and going, you know what? People are people. And when I'm out in public or online, I'm just going to have conversations. That's it. I'm just going to try to communicate with one another. Start with that and you will be shocked at how far that goes. So if you want to know more, you could go to my masteringselfconfidence.com website. We have a program. We also are doing online courses. I'm doing a bunch of other things, but it's not a pickup artist. I guess you can use it for that if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it. And it's really just about more or less men just also building up the self-confidence to be who they truly want to be. I also help with wardrobe, hygiene, fashion, fitness as well. I call it working from the outside in. But yeah, guys, it's on you. I'm just telling you right now. And if any women are listening, hopefully they'll agree with me. Maybe not. Maybe some women, not. But I think for the most part, we all have to understand that we all have similar, some of us have a lot of interests that are very similar. And if you plan on being in a relationship together, you're going to be communicating. That's going to be the biggest part of your relationship, is how you communicate with one another, how you treat one another, obviously, as well. But it really comes down to talking. And if you can't really talk with one another, about certain things, it's just going to, I believe, kind of fall apart. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. I wish you all nothing but the best.